this concept of an open source platform. You are democratizing, the word meaning like give access to everybody, on drug discovery and developing an open source drug repurposing database. What does that mean, and how do you envision this tool empowering researchers and clinicians worldwide? And I would even go as far as to say set a precedent for possibly other open source sharings so that we can understand challenges of the human existence as a whole rather than be revenue driven.
We use these knowledge graphs to generate scores for every drug versus every disease, and it requires a tremendous amount of compute and also a lot of really complicated AI skills and personnel. And we get a score for every drug versus every disease. All 75 million of those scores that I mentioned took 100 days previously, and now it takes 17 hours. And we use those scores to decide as a nonprofit, every cure, that nonprofit, to decide which matches to go forward, which ones need more lab work, which ones need clinical trials, which ones do we need to just advocate and educate around. So that's what we, the nonprofit, use them for. But to your point, we also felt like the world should just have access to these scores. Like if we can find things that look promising and that can drive us as a nonprofit, we should just give those away to the world. But rather than giving away like the knowledge graph and figuring out how to like, good luck coming up with these scores, we're like, why don't we just give the scores? So in about a year's time, every one of those 75 million scores will be available for the world to utilize. And so you can imagine if you're a researcher in Parkinson's disease, you might type in Parkinson's and say like, what are the 4,000 drugs that are currently approved for anything? And what's the rank order for what might be useful for Parkinson's? And it might be that the number one drug on that list looks really promising and you might want to go study in the lab. Or it might be the number 5 thing on the list. There's already anecdotal reports of people have been getting it in their case studies that maybe has helped patients with Parkinson's. And so, there's going to be varying levels of evidence for all these things. The vast majority, of course, there's going to be no evidence whatsoever, and they're going to get scored low. But for a lot of these, they're going to be really high. And you as a scientist or as a physician or as a patient are now armed with this information that you can then take forward.